We got raised. The 2023 NBA season in 23 minutes.
The NBA season this year has had so much drama going on that it damn near feels like a reality TV.
Wait, did I press record? Okay, I did.
At times. So many storylines that ended up being forgotten later on in the year, and it really was feeling like keeping up with the Kardashians at times. So, speaking of forgotten storylines, that's what I'm here for. To recap the whole season and touch on moments we may have forgotten collectively. So without further ado, let me start the goddamn video. So to start the 2022-23 NBA season, we have to mention the previous winners of last season, with that of course being the Golden State Warriors. Now since the Warriors were heavily over the salary cap, some changes had to be made, since they couldn't keep two essential pieces in Gary Payton and Otto Porter Jr. They were sure to just be a swell
Will Chamberlain's son, grandson,
swimmingly on the way to compete for another championship, right? Anyways, I think it's time we look away from the Warriors.
He just went past. He said, "Oh,
for another championship, right?" Anyways, I think it's time we look away from the Warriors.
Draymond, Steve Kerr was on Draymond Green show.
The NBA as a whole,
month
by month in this B word. So here's the outline. There's gonna be 3 categories for every month. That being record, drama, and moves. Now, if we use our critical thinking skills, the record is being the win-loss record for every team I cover. And now for the drama. Well, drama is obviously some crazy shit that happens during the season. Like if someone decided to cosplay as a thug or be out as a straight-up freak. But these are just examples. Don't worry. And finally, moves is any acquisition a team makes during the season that matters. I'm not going to talk about two ways moving up or down or G League stuff. Now with all of that intro shit out the way, let's hop into the 2023 NBA season, starting with the month of October. Now since I'm a West Coast enjoyer, we're starting with the Western Conference instead of the East. And if you have a problem with that, go make your own video, bud. Okay, let's go.
I like him.
At the top of the West at the end of October, we have the Blazers at 5-1. Damn. Maybe they will have another playoff run like 2019. Tied with the Blazers at 5-1, we have the Suns. It looks like they really want to get back after getting banged by a European in the playoffs. And third at 6-2, we have the Jazz. Lauri Markkanen really looks like a school threat with the way he be shooting. It looks like getting rid of Rudy Gobert. Donovan Mitchell didn't mean shit. Alright, speedrun now. Pop with the coaching masterclass. Spurs at 5-2.
Why is the short sweating?
He's pretty good at this whole basketball thing when he actually plays. Pell's at 4-2. Jokic got his boys back, but he's still only at 4-3. Is he a fraud? John Grizz tied at 4-3. Same with the Timberwolves.
After all that,
Dallas at 3-3, but don't worry, Luka won't miss the playoffs. OKC at 3-3.
Get
no way
it?
Shy carries this team to the playoffs, right? Warriors with a generational fall off at 3-4, along with the day-to-day Clippers also at 3-4. And unfortunately, my Sacramento Kings are gonna go through yet another trash-ass season after we trade Halliburton for Sabonis with them at 2-4. Then the Lakers are at 1-5. Oh, and the Rockets haven't won a game yet, which is to be expected.
Team Rocket!
Of all time. They're 0-6. Now, let's go East and check.
Don't know about Team Rocket.
For number 1 in the East, we have the Milwaukee Bucks, who are 6-0, and Giannis is looking for that second ring. And at number 2, we have the 5-1 Cavaliers, who just got Donovan Mitchell in the offseason. Maybe they don't need LeBron to win a championship. And third, Celtics are 4-2.
What is he doing? Who knows what he's doing, man?
Maybe they don't need LeBron to win a championship.
Jalen, I'll have 7 rings by the time I'm 28 years old.
And third, Celtics are 4-2, and this is probably the reason why they lost 2 games in October. Now let's run through the rest of the East. Two-way tie between the 2 6s, Atlanta and Toronto, both at 4-3. Philly and New York are both tied, with Philly being at 4-4 and New York being at 3-3, staying at 500. Chicago had a generational fall off. Sorry, Kenny. They sit at 3-4 with the damn Poverty Hornets also at 3-4. MJ has been cooking up a whole lot of nothing with this sorry-ass franchise. Wait, I'm a Kings fan. Never mind. I'm gonna shut my mouth. My fault. Washington at 3-4 and Indiana at 3-4. Please, Hallie, come back. I miss you. Brooklyn assembled the Avengers just to be 2-5. You hate to see it. Then the Heat fell off crazy after last season and started 2-5. Also, Detroit, led by Killian Hayes, are at 2-6.
They say it like that too. Killian Hayes.
Stat stuffer on TikTok. And Orlando are in dead last in the East at 1-6. Now time for October's drama and moves.
Nothing.
Yeah, not a single thing happened to you, not gonna lie. This will change soon enough, though, so don't worry.
But Shannon Sharp.
Now, we're on to November. This song is so good, man. The West now has Phoenix at the top at 15-16. I'm so proud of them. Maybe CP0 will imitate Sonic and finally grab a fucking ring. Or maybe the Babytron line will stay true forever.
Bitch, you never get a ring like CP3.
Wait, Jokic is actually...
He actually said that? Dang! CP's getting dissed by... Dang, he's getting dissed by his daughter's classmates and rappers. Dang, he can't catch a break. Hopefully he can, do some, you know what I'm saying? He can have a great season with the Warriors, man.
Off the fraud allegations.
This is not looking good for you.
MVP candidate, but this is nothing new. More importantly, his team is...
I know I
This
did
is
not just see
crazy.
it.
He's an MVP candidate, but
Oh my.
this is nothing new. More importantly, his team is 14-7 now. Pelicans are third at 13-8. Boy, oh boy, Zion is sure good at this basketball thing when he actually plays. And Brandon Ingram is pretty good at this basketball thing too. Shout out to that one person in my Twitter replies who constantly glazes him. Memphis Cornballs are at 12-9. Rehab Home is at 13-10.
What is this
And
man's
do my eyes
problem?
deceive me? The Kings have a positive record. I used to pray for times like this, to rhyme like this, so I had to grind like that, to shine like this in the mouth. I'm so sorry, my emotions got the best of me. Kings at 11-19. Like
Finally getting games on ESPN.
Utah fell off. Walker Kessler is cool though. Jazz at 13-11. Warriors at 500, 11-11, along with the Wolves. And Blazers, I guess that punch did something, and Rudy Gobert has been doing nothing. And for the Blazers, as Shaq once said, you can't fool me. I'm familiar
with your game.
The Mavs are 10-10, 500. Mark Cuban, give this man Luka some damn help and hop off Shark Tank, buddy. OKC Thunder are preparing to tank for generations to come and are at 9-13. The Lakers still have Leonardo on the roster and are 8-12.
Bro, shut up, me, Ross.
Don't hurt me. I actually like Westbrook. Spurs are second to last at 6-16, and I know Charles
Bro.
Barkley is grinning ear to ear right now. And finally,
You
the
said
Rockets
what?
at 6-16, and I know Charles Barkley is grinning ear to ear right now.
Why?
And finally, the Rockets are in dead last at 5-16.
Yeah,
Freaks,
man.
it's time to go east again. The Celtics are at the top of the East right now at 18-4, and the Greek Freak and the Bucks are behind them at 15-5, and the Cavs are right behind them at 14-8, which means this heads
Can't believe you
out.
actually said that,
Thanks.
bro. The lights were brighter than. But like it's your first time to play. Didn't you go to the playoffs when you were at the Nets?
Cavs are right behind them at 14-8.
Yeah, trade him to a new team. He's acting brand new. Whoop-de-doo!
Means this heads out the top 3 in the East. Now, time to speedrun the rest. Wait a damn minute. Tyrese has the Pacers at 4th at 12-19. We love you, Hallie. Everyone. I don't think there's a single person on this earth who doesn't like Tyrese Halliburton. Okay,
Yeah.
now we speed.
He's a great dude. Great
Atlanta
dude.
and Philly are both.
He
at
was just on
12
Paul George's podcast.
10. Toronto at 11-10. Brooklyn is having yet another disappointing
What? McDonald.
season. They're 12-11. Wonder if they'll do anything to attempt to fix this. Oh wait, what? They actually did something about it. Well, we'll talk about this in a moment. Wizards are at 11-11. If I was a white girl, I'd make a wish. And to round out the bottom, we have Miami and New York at 10-12, Chicago at 9-12, Charlotte at 6-15, Orlando at 5-17, and Killian Hayes and the Pistons are 5-18. Whew. Okay, now on to the drama. Steve Nash getting fired was completely deserved. Steve Nash was holding back the squad completely. Steve Nash got fired on November 1st, and the Nets were 2-6 at the time. So yeah, looking back on it, this was a great decision. Now, other than that,
Oh, this man wanted to fight and got fired the next
Yeah.
day. I remember
looking
that.
back on it, this
That man forgot how to act on the sidelines and got fired the next
was a great
day.
decision. Now, other than that, there wasn't a whole lot of drama in November. Wait, you're telling me Kyrie did what? Well, there wasn't a whole lot of drama for teams that aren't the Nets. Okay, so basically, Kyrie tweeted some stuff about the people, the bad guys in World War II were not very fond of in a demeaning way. And apparently, the tweet was supposed to be educational about the origins of his people. But, how do I word this without YouTube Hakeem swatting me off the backboard? So basically, Kyrie tweeted a link to a film about the origin of Israel and a bunch of other stuff, all meaning to be educational.
Cross jab.
But within
Look
the
at that cross
film that
jab.
he tweeted the link to, it was said in the movie that apparently the mustache man didn't do anything bad to the people he didn't like, which, if we know history, it's not very true. Anyways, Kyrie was suspended for the most of November, and this, along with the fact that Ben Simmons forgot how to be half decent at this whole basketball thing, led to KD putting the team on his back and on his shoulders for the rest of the month. Now, with all of that out of the way, we can finally get on to the moves for the month of November.
You
Which was
got
just
the time when Kyrie got in a fight with the reporter?
firing Steve Nash, yeah. I'm telling you, it was just only Nets drama and moves for this month. So now, moving on from Steve Nash getting packed up, let's talk about December. The format of this video will change
Bro, you sound about DTLR? I didn't know you shop there.
soon, don't worry. The end of December sees Denver at the number 1 seed at 23-12, with New Orleans slightly behind them at 23-13. Surely nothing goes wrong for them, right? In third, we have Memphis at 22-13, Dallas at 21-16, and falling behind them, we have the Kings at 19-15. My Saboner is raging. Now, let's finish the rest of the
What
West
the heck? He says a
quickly.
He
Clippers
says a boner?
are 21-17. Phoenix fell off. 20-17. 18-17 for the Blazers. Warriors at 19-18. 20. Minnesota at 16-21.
Gideon!
LOL. The Lakers and OKC tied at 15-21. The Spurs are 12-24. And yet again, Houston last at 10-26. Time for the East. Boston on the top of the East, shout out Racem at 26-10. Then Brooklyn with the comeback of the century after firing Steve Nash. They're at 24-12. And third, we have the Mango Smoothie Enjoyer and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, let me finish this and get to the juicy December drama.
What happened in December?
23-14. Philly 21-14. Indy 20-17. Miami and New York 19-18. Atlanta 17-19. Chicago and Toronto 16-20. Washington 16-21.
Kuzma.
Orlando 13-24. Charlotte 10-20.
You saw he was at the Usher concert, right? And Usher started. They said Usher was like the test, a relationship test. They take him to just go to Usher concert with your girl.
Washington
Just to test your relationship.
16-21. Orlando 13-24. Charlotte 10-27. And finally, Detroit, headed by Killian Hayes, 10-29.
Killian Hayes.
Now for the drama for this month. And let me tell you, December was actually so insane for it. Now, a lot of my longtime viewers know Kanye is my favorite artist, so it came as a shock to me when I opened up Twitter and I saw this. CP0 Rings was out here pimping Kim K. It all makes sense now. He has the Kardashian curse. Alright, then after that, the Celtics head coach got his Quizlet account leaked where he would actually game plan for different players.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. He got his key.
Yeah, Quizlet. What happened to clipboards and film, man? We out here.
Look at my clip. Jason, did you study the Quizlet? It's online, Jason.
Quizlets. Another big thing that happened in December was Jay Crowder continuing to have a severe case of thinking he's him. Man was holding out on the Suns like he's the next coming of Michael Jordan or something when he doesn't even average double-digit points and is literally on the bench. Anyways, speaking of someone who doesn't even average double-digit points.
That one game when he be doing all this.
Anyways, speaking of someone who is him.
Jay Crowder don't even have a ring, bro. Does he? He don't even. He been to the final bar, but like 5 times, don't got a ring. Whoop you!
And is literally on the bench. Anyways, speaking of someone who is him, we gotta talk about Luka Doncic. On December 27th, against the Knicks, he decided to drop the first ever 60, 20, and 10 game the NBA has ever seen. I can't wait to see him come out with a vengeance in this year's playoffs. Now to move on from that, we have arguably
all this foreshadowing, bro. That man loves the foreshadow.
This year, I think a lot of people actually
all
forgot
this foreshadowing.
When Killian Hayes put Mo Wagner to sleep. He was honk shoeing in the middle of an NBA game. Like, this shit was actually insane, and just everyone forgot about it. He slept another grown man in the middle of an NBA game. Finally, one of the most significant things happened in December.
He said,
was Zion Williamson throwing down this straight-up vicious dunk at the end of an RA1 game and igniting beef between the Suns and Pels for the rest of the season. Now, for the moves that occurred in December, we have nothing. Now, earlier when I said the format of this video,
but what's all the Skip Bayless? I mean, not Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp.
I'm talking about now because it's time to finish this NBA season off at a quicker pace. So let's keep the same format, except we're going all the way to the All-Star.
Ray, you sponsored by Kings Group Games. I know you play that.
Break on this one. So let's jump into these NBA records. Top 5 of the West season: Nuggets at 41-18, Memphis at 35-22, the Kings at 32-25, Clippers at 33-28, Suns at 32-28. Now for the rest: Dallas at 31-29, New Orleans at 30-29, Minnesota 31-10, Warriors 29-29, OKC 28-29. Now, if you can't tell already, the West is quite close, but let's finish this up. Jazz are 29-31,
Rudy Gay
28-30, Lakers 27-32, Spurs 14-45, and finally, yet again, at the bottom, we have
bro, stop. Bro, you think I don't see all this? I see it all. You can't fool me, Ray. I'm familiar with your game.
Boston is number 1 at 42-17. Bucks are 41-17. Philly 38-19, Cleveland 38-23, Brooklyn 34-24, New York 33-27, Miami 32-27, Atlanta 29-30,
put the baby here.
28-31, Chicago 26-33, Indiana 26-34, Orlando 25-35, Charlotte 17-43, and last Detroit 15-44. If you can't tell, I was trying to get through this section because besides the playoffs, this is the most drama-filled part of every season so far. So let's get into it. First things first, Donovan Mitchell and Damian Lillard both dropped 70+ points for the first time since Devin Booker did it in 2017. And I have to say, this was in fact a night I had the under on Damian Lillard, which will never happen again. Damian Lillard is not getting a single one of my legs anymore. Pause. Then we have Ja Morant. Now, if you don't know, Ja Morant has had a history of acting like he's affiliated, and this month we got a case where he allegedly...
Yeah, it's still crazy,
Now, if you don't know, Ja Morant has had a history of acting like he's affiliated, and this month we got a case where he allegedly beat up a 17-year-old kid. And I'm just glad this is where all this stuff stopped happening for Ja. Wait, he might actually be King Vaughn. Now, since I'm a Kings fan, I have to talk about how there are some points throughout the season where we had opposing arenas chanting "Light the Beam." Like, listening to this man, it's just straight up beautiful.
But the Lakers fans chanting "Light the Beam"? Dang, that switch up is crazy.
We really are America's team.
No wonder why
Speaking
Russ
of
left,
widely
y'all.
liked teams across the NBA, let's talk about the exact
No wonder why
opposite.
Russ left. Y'all
When the Grizzlies got
toxic
unsurrounded.
and unloyal.
Now, I speak for everyone when I say making Shannon Sharp mad is inexcusable. Like, look at this shit. The only thing that redeemed
Bro, Steven, where you think
making
Shannon Sharp's gonna beat Steven Adams, bro?
Shannon Sharp mad
Shannon Sharp versus Steven Adams in a fight. Steven Adams gonna win easily, bro.
Like, look at this shit. The only thing that redeems the Grizzlies is having Aquaman on their team. Other than that, I really hope Dylan Brooks gets shipped off to Guantanamo Bay. Next, to speak on something that also regards the Lakers, but the league in totality, we have to talk about this Celtics and Lakers game. So LeBron obviously got fouled right here, and it was quite blatant with the game on the line. This was especially important since at this point in the season, the Lakers weren't even slated to be in the playoffs. This game highlighted a lot of other mistakes that the Lakers had previously with the officiating. Now, me personally,
Bro, why is this dude smiling and pointing like that?
highlighted a lot of other mistakes that the Lakers had previously with the officiating.
What the?
Now, me personally, it was kind of annoying seeing the Lakers fans point out every single reffing discrepancy that happened to them this season, but it overall was great for the media to see because these refs have kind of been terrible this season. Because I know personally, as a Kings fan, we had quite a few games with horrible officiating. Like when Tyler Hero hit a game winner against us, that was an obvious travel that was called directly after by the coaches and everyone else, the commentators, but not the refs. Then we also had Giannis saying shit like this at All-Star Weekend.
Like Mark Davis and shit.
Anyways, I don't want to talk on this too long because, to be honest, I already have a video in the works deep diving this whole situation. So be ready.
With the referees? You have a situation with the referees?
Okay, moving on from all of that, February 3rd, 2023 marked a disaster for the Nets, as it was officially time for them to blow things up since Kyrie requested a trade out of nowhere. But I'm going to cover that in the move section of this part of the video. So, moving on from that, my glorious, sweet, voluptuous, beautiful monarch, LeBron Raymond James, finally did it. On February 7, 2023, LeBron became the all-time points leader in the regular season, surpassing Kareem after 38 years of his record standing. Really legendary stuff.
Raise.
They did lose the game though.
Gotta chill.
Now that about wraps up the drama, so let's get into moves. And yeah, there's a lot of them since this.
We're talking about Valorant? I didn't know you played Valorant.
This is the trade deadline. The Lakers are the biggest beneficiary from this year's deadline as they rounded out their team by dealing away a Grubhub driver and a part-time Lyft driver for their whole fucking roster. Kendrick Nunn, Russell Westbrook, and a Coke turned into D'Lo, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, and a one-hit wonder. I got ho. Then he got Mavs in exchange for Spencer, DFS, a first, and also 2 seconds. The Raptors traded a first and 2 seconds for Jakob Poeltl for some reason. The Nuggets traded Bones to Clippers for a bag of chips. Warriors were in a 4-team deal with a lot of individuals. You can read them on screen if you want. The Rockets got John Wall back to see if he wanted to say that shit to their face that he was talking on that podcast.
Yep.
Clippers
Yep.
got Plum Dog
I said the same thing too.
Back to see if he wanted to say
Yeah,
that
see, say it to their face.
shit to their face that he was talking on that podcast. Clippers got Plum Dog Millionaire, and that's about
Plum
it.
Dog Millionaire, yep.
He was talking on that podcast.
I had nothing to do with the video, but Plumlee gets on my nerves. When Russ was with the Clippers, that's when I started watching the Clipper highlights. And he really thinks he's a point guard, bro. This man, I swear to God, he thinks he's a point guard.
Clippers got
Oh, you're a center, bro. Relax. I know they re-signed you. You're not a point guard. They signed you to play center, not point guard, buddy.
Millionaire, and
Get that
that's
through
about
your
it.
head.
What the hell? Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns.
That was just out
Now,
of
as you can
nowhere.
see on your screen, it was quite a lot of moving pieces in this trade, but the most important were the 4 firsts and Mikal Bridges and Kevin Durant, of course. Good lord, I'm finally done with the trade.
Who's this? Juan Ballet?
4 firsts and Mikal Bridges and Kevin Durant, of course. Good lord, I'm finally done with the trade deadline. If I didn't speak on a trade, it's either because it's not important enough for me to speak on, or it's because I'm stupid and forgot it. Anyways, on to All-Star Weekend.
Did you get
Kevin
it?
Durant, of course.
Yeah, we all know that one.
Millionaire, and back to see if he won 14 Jakob Poeltl for some reason. First, and also 2 seconds. He got dealt to the Mavs in exchange for...
Oh, Kyrie, yeah, he did.
Then speaking on Kyrie Irving, who asked for a trade, he got dealt to the Mavs in exchange for Spencer, DFS, a first, and also 2
All right. Yeah,
Clippers got in this trade. Good lord, I'm finally done with the trade deadline. If I didn't speak on a trade, it's either because it's not important enough for me to speak on, or it's because I'm stupid and forgot it. Anyways, on to All-Star Weekend, and I'm not talking about this in much depth. Don't worry. Mac McClellan won the dunk contest and pulled off some crazy shit. We got one of the funniest clips in NBA history with Grant Williams and Giannis. Damian Lillard increases trophies that aren't NBA championships with him winning the three-point contest. And here are the All-Stars. No one cares about the All-Star game. De'Aaron held a vicious snub, and even Anthony Edwards was mad, but they both got an injury reserve. So like Berlizzi said, I'ma let it slide. Now, I think y'all been waiting a little too long for the playoff segment of this video, so I'm going to skip to the end of the season. And instead of going over records, since y'all probably already know your team's favorite record, and most of the team's records, since, you know, it's the ending record.
You need to search it up.
I'm just going to say who made the playoffs, who made the play-ins, and who's in the Wembanyama sweepstakes. Out west, the Sixers as follows. In first, the Denver Nuggets. In second, the Memphis
The
Grizzlies.
Rockets made the playoffs?
In third, the Sacramento Kings. In fourth, the Phoenix Suns. In fifth, the Los Angeles Clippers. In sixth, the Golden State Warriors. Our 4 play-in teams are the Los Angeles Lakers, who made the comeback of the century, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Pelicans, and the Thunder. And then the Wembanyama sweepstakes are the Mavericks, who fell off and didn't make the playoffs even after getting Kyrie, the Jazz, the Trailblazers, Damian Harris-Carey, Houston Rockets, and Spurs in last place. Now then, going out east, the top 6 is as follows. In 1, Milwaukee Bucks. In 2, the Boston Celtics. In 3rd, Philadelphia 76ers. In 4th, the Cleveland Cavaliers. In 5th, the New York Knicks. And in 6th, the Brooklyn Nets, who fell off after trading their 2-star players. But they got Mikal, so he kind of carried. Then our play-in teams are the Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawks, Toronto Raptors, and Chicago Bulls. None of these teams are going to make the finals, don't worry. And then Wembanyama sweepstakes are the Indiana Pacers in 11, Washington Wizards in 12, Orlando Magic in 13th, Charlotte Hornets in 14th, and Detroit Pistons in 15th. Okay, now for the drama heading up to the end of the season, and then we can finally get to the playoffs and play-ins. Now, on one random February game, the Los Angeles Clippers and the Sacramento Kings decided that neither teams were going to play defense and that they were just going to score. And score they did, because at the end of 2 overtime periods, the score was 176 to 175, and you know my Kings pulled out on top. This was the greatest regular season game of all time. I don't care what anyone has to say. Durant slipped on the floor during warm-ups.
The worst regular season game of all time.
The Houston
That was the
Rockets
worst regular season game of all time. No defense played whatsoever.
which finally broke after a season of coaching a
that loss does not count.
team. Then during the last game of the regular season, nothing important happened. You know, everyone was having a chill time until Rudy Gobert decided to push Kyle
I forgot about this.
the regular season.
Oh, Gobert thinks he's nice.
Bro, dude.
They can get that dude a big contract. He started acting. They're brand new.
Until
Give him a big contract. They ain't acting brand new, bro.
Decided to punch Kyle Anderson for.
He was never in Utah. He would never act like this in Utah.
You know, everyone was having a chill time.
Man was holding his wrist too. Look.
Damn near the rest of the season. The Houston Rockets coach finally broke after a season of coaching a trash-ass AAU team. Then during the last game of the regular
He was holding him back. Someone was holding his wrist. The trainer was?
You know, everyone was having a chill time. Until Rudy Gobert decided to punch Kyle Anderson for whatever reason. He probably told him to learn Chinese, and
I can't believe how God he did
didn't do
that.
shit for their team after trading all those draft picks. Now it's finally time for the playoffs. If you want to see any of these series more in depth, I have a whole playlist going over this whole year's playoffs. Check that out. The play-in game between the Wolves and the Lakers was really close, and there was almost a game winner, but you know, someone had to sell. DeMar DeRozan found his daughter to an NBA game, and she screamed courtside.
DR! Is that you?
DeRozan found an unpatched glitch where he brought his daughter to an NBA game, and she screamed courtside every time the Toronto Raptors tried to shoot a free throw, which led them to shoot 50% from the line. This glitch got patched though because she had to go to school at the next playoff game, so yeah. And then
patched the glitch.
And the Wolves beat the Thunder. The Nuggets gentlemen sweep the
Maybe
Wolves.
2K is realistic. Whoop-de-doo!
Then he Edwards some help. Dylan Brooks decided to call LeBron out. It didn't work out too well as they got beat in 6 games and LeBron was going absolutely crazy. And in the closeout game, they lost by 40. Bro is not the villain of the NBA. The Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors had one of the greatest first rounds of all time that went to 7 games where Domantas Sabonis got stepped on his chest and there were high scoring games. De'Aaron Fox was going crazy, but it ended in tragedy as the Golden State Warriors won in 7. Kawhi and Paul George were load managing damn near the whole entire regular season and then also decided to load manage during the playoffs, so I don't really know what that organization was doing, which led to them losing in 5 games. But Russell Westbrook had some good games in the playoffs, so now in the East, the Bucks win out sorry. As the number 1 seed, so many people had them as favorites to win it all, just for them to get beat in 5 games by Jimmy Butler masterclass.
You know, it's right under the Giannis interview. He went off after they lost. You asked me this last year.
Now in the East, the Bucks win out sorry. As the number 1 seed, so many people had them as favorites to win it all.
Like I said, they treat him like Chris Paul. Every time Chris Paul loses in the playoff, they always ask him, Chris, are you going to retire? Like, that's the first thing to ask him after you lose in the playoffs, after you get eliminated. Are you gonna retire? I ain't retiring. Are you gonna retire? I'm not retiring.
The Bucks win out sorry as the number one
want him
seed.
to
So many
retire.
people had them as favorites.
Why they want him to
win it all,
retire?
Just for them to get beat in 5 games by Jimmy Butler masterclass, where he had one game where he scored 56. And all in all, Jimmy Butler was really going crazy during this series. Tomfoolery prevails. Boston took care of Atlanta in 6 games. Philly brought out the brooms for the Brooklyn Nets, and in all honesty, the Brooklyn Nets weren't even supposed to be there. The lights were too bright for the Cavs and Jared Allen as the New York Knicks beat them in 5 games. Now, quick award show intermission. Joel Embiid brought home MVP. That surely means he'll go far in this year's playoffs, right? Paulo Banchero won Rookie of the Year, and for some reason, just no one talks about him. Malcolm Brogdon won 6th Man of the Year.
Who won Most
Mike Brown
Improved?
won Coach of the Year, and De'Aaron Fox won Clutch Player of the Year. Now time
Who won Most Improved Player of the Year? I forgot.
for these semifinals. The Denver Nuggets had to go against KD, Devin Booker, and that's about it. So they beat them in 6 games because the Suns kind of need a supporting cast. Now for the series that might have been watched more than the actual finals itself, we have the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron and Curry's potential final last matchup in the playoffs, where LeBron beat them in 6 games, but it was overall a good series, so we can't complain. Jordan Poole, get ready to learn Cantonese, buddy. The Boston and Philly series went to 7 games, where Philly decided to absolutely choke when it mattered most, and James Harden and Joel Embiid were nowhere to be found as they were imitating Casper the Ghost. They left the series a little early and forgot that they have to show up for a Game 7. The tomfoolery continues as the Heat beat the Knicks in 6 games. If you guys know where Julius Randle is, please let me know. He's gone missing every single time he's been in the playoffs. Now time to talk about the conference finals. Well, there's not a lot to talk about in the West as the Denver Nuggets beat the Lakers in 4 games and it damn near forced LeBron to retirement. D'Angelo Russell got to step it up for my glorious Sweet King. Then out east, Jaylen Brown decided to tweet this out, and after that they lost 3 games straight. But then they won 3 games straight. But then Lost in Game 7. So, yeah, it really doesn't matter.
All that for nothing. Yup, they did all that for nothing. That's crazy. I forgot the Celtics were down 3-0. Then they came back 3-3 and lost to 7. Yeah, they lost Game 7 on their floor. Whoop-de-doo. Hey, y'all did all that for nothing. Y'all could have just got swept or lost in 5.
Lost 3 games straight. But then they won 3 games straight. But then lost in Game 7. So, yeah, it really doesn't matter. Better luck next time, Boston. Now, before the finals, let's talk about every coach that got fired in this year's playoffs. Because there's a lot. The list of coaches that got fired includes the Suns head coach, the Boston Celtics head coach.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't get fired. No. You got your information wrong.
Fired includes the Suns head coach, the Boston Celtics.
No, he didn't get fired. He's still the coach. I wouldn't have fired him either. He has a whole season to prepare, whole training camp to prepare.
Coach, the Milwaukee Bucks head coach.
Yeah, coach.
And finally, the Philadelphia 76ers.
There's 3 coaches.
Because we all know Doc Rivers is a fraud. Now, that sets the matchup for the 2023 NBA Finals, which is the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. And I'm very disappointed to say this, but in this instance, tomfoolery did not prevail as the Denver Nuggets beat them in 5 games. But what I can be happy about is that Jokic finally beat the fraud allegations and the empty stat allegations.
Why is you crying?
Is an NBA champion and was the best player on that team and was the best player in this year's playoffs and led his team to their first ever championship in franchise history. Now with that happy ending, the 2023 NBA season has finally concluded, and I want to say thank you all for watching, and all I can really ask now is, who do y'all think is going to win next year? Because there's a lot of competitors.
Oh my god, not this dude.
But before I leave, as usual, I want to leave with a message. Stop waiting. If you really want something, go out there and get it. In all honesty, nothing is stopping you but yourself. If you fail, it happens. Just go for it. No matter what happens at the end of the day, you should be proud of yourself. And I'm proud of you too, because you tried. And that's all that really counts.
Thank you, Ray. I'm proud of you too.
So step out of your comfort zone and do something great, because you know you can. Everyone on this earth has potential, and maybe for you, you just haven't realized it yet. So go realize that potential.